Guys, welcome back for Team Soul Stars live video. We're going to go over the Sprite combo here. So I'll be introducing you guys kind of the end board pieces of the deck. You're going to be seeing lots of totally awesomes, which are going to be an Omni-8 to stop your opponent's cards. You're going to be seeing an SP or a copy of IP to kind of interact with your opponents going into either or. You might also see a copy of Rabbit, which can obviously set up the copy of the Ezroon. And then we see sometimes a copy of the Sprint as well. And of course, the red and the carrot. So now that we kind of know what the extra deck cards look like that we're going to be ending on, let's kind of see how we get to it, or I'll explain a little bit more. So, looking at these cards here, these are going to be your end boards. We also have the double cross, which can be able to bring back out the copy. It's totally awesome. But we're going to be showing you guys like what you kind of have here. So, when you're looking at an average end board of this deck, this is going to be kind of what it looks like here. We have a copy of IP, which can go up into that copy of SP. Going to kind of remove a card on the field or on the graveyard, and then also add another form of interruption by being able to banish. You'll have a spell and trap negate by removing a level 2 on the field, a monster negate by removing the monster on the field, and Omni negate also being able to add back the copies of Beaver, which is going to be one of your best normal summons, and also an Omni negate, which is going to be able to bring with double cross here, which can bring itself back into a zone it points to, or it can attach it to an XYZ material, depending on whatever is in the graveyard. Now, important to notice, this doesn't have to target a level 2 or a rank 2. It can target whatever else as long as it attaches to a rank 2 or summon under a link 2, which is very important. So we have our extra deck, or our end board cards kind of explained. Now I'll show you guys another kind of a different, how we get there. So we have some of the best normal summons in the game here for our deck, being the copy of Swap Frog and the copy of Beaver. So depending on which one you end up going for, this is going to give you access to the Sprint, which can be able to dump another copy of the Angler, and it will summon out 2 more Beavers, which can then let you go up into the copy of the Gigantic, which can let you summon out whatever piece you are missing. This is going to be the kind of card that lets you summon out either the copy of the Swap Frog if you don't have access to it, dumping the copy of the Ice Barrier, or to summon out any of your Sprite monsters to kind of let you continue out your plays. So we have the Sprite monsters that we mentioned. We know the monster negate as well as the spell and trap negate. Now for the other monsters. We have a monster which searches for any other monster that is Sprite monster. Going to be an extender as well. All of them, I guess. All the Sprite monsters here are extenders. Then we have the Jet as well, which is going to be searching for your spell and trap sprites, which is going to be the copy of the starter for another extender as well, being able to summon out any of the Sprite monsters by taking their attack points as damage. And then the copy of Double Cross, which is going to be able to snatch, steal, or summon out from the graveyard like we mentioned earlier. So we have understood the Sprite cards. We also have the going second option for the Gamma Burst. We are not playing the copy of the Smashers. That card has kind of fallen out of favor. This is going to allow us your opponents to really OTK really easily by just giving all your monsters 1400 attack. So we know what the Sprite monsters do now. We know kind of the end board. Let's kind of talk about some of the other extenders. So Swap Frog is going to be an extender as well as a good normal summon, which can be able to dump the copy of the Mirror Mage. Mirror Mage is going to be a level 2 Ice Barrier Aqua monster. Now, it is a tuner as well, which is going to be important. But you can also go into Synchros if you want with this, but that's not really the case. This is going to give us access when it touches the graveyard to go for the copy of the Freezing Change, which brings back out the copy of the Mirror Mage here, letting us overlay into the copy of Totally Awesome. So if you want to be stopping the Totally Awesome, it's going to be totally awesome to hit this card out of the hand, or in the graveyard in that case, before you can bring it back out with the copy of the Freezing Chains. So with this, we have kind of touched up on all the cards here. Now we're going to go into the combo video. What's up, guys? We're going to be showing you guys the 1-card Beaver combo. This is going to be the basic combo of just normal summoning, activating the effect, getting out the copy of the Angler. We link these away. You can go for the other Beaver if you wanted to, but we are not going to because we're going to want to send the Angler off the Sprint. Sprint's going to be linked away, activating the effect, sending the Angler here. We then activate the Angler, summoning out the 2 Beavers from our deck. We can then XYZ up into a copy of the Sprint. Now, if you are Sprite Gigantic here, if you had any other monster on the field, with any of these extenders, you would be able to go for a different, but we just go activate the effect. We'll attach the copy of Beaver, send out the copy of Swap Frog. Now we're going to activate Swap Frog, dump the copy of the Mirror Mage. Mirror Mage can let us search for the Ice Freezing Chains. It's going to let us reborn out the Mirror Mage, which we are going to be doing. Then we're going to go up into a copy of the Totally Awesome here. And then we link these two for a copy of IP. Now during your opponent's turn, we can go during the standby phase, activate bring out the swap, and then now we have the material for the IP, as well as these totally awesome here to negate, and then add back the copy of Beaver in the graveyard, which is going to let us have access to another normal summon and then have a combo during the follow-up turn. Now this is all off the one Beaver. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, if you have any one of these, you'll have different interactions. You know, if you have access to the starter, which gives you access to blue, Jet, then you'll be able to get a double cross as well for another Omni Negate, adding back another card as well. And then, of course, if you have any of these, you'll have an additional negate with the form of red or carrot, respectively. So there is that there. I just wanted to show you guys like the basic combo. And now just move on with a copy of the starter. So for this combo here, it's going to be any normal summon without an effect, as well as a copy of blue. You're going to normal summon the Angler, special summon out the blue, activate effect, search for the copy of Jet. Jet summon itself out, activate, search for either the double cross or the copy of the starter here, depending on what other cards you have in hand. If you don't have any other extenders, you might choose to go for this so you can have another build. We're going to go for the double cross here, so we have the option of double toad, adding that to the hand. We can then link away these two for our copy of Sprint. Sprint dumps the Angler from the deck to activate the effect, summon out 2 Weavers. And then we can overlay these two here for the Gigantic. You want to get rid of the Sprint in the extra deck because you want to have access for either IP or a Rabbit later. You can leave it in the extra deck if you want to go for that Sprint bounce instead. If you already have another maybe body on the field to go up into that copy of the IP, giving you access to go into the copy of the SP, because then SP will have the arrows that point left and right. With double cross, you're going to have to summon out into a zone it points to, so that's going to be the reason why you want to do that. But for this combo, we're going to pretend we just don't. So we have this here, and then we're going to activate the effect, bringing out the Swap Frog from the deck. Swap Frog is going to activate, dumping the Mirror Mage, like we mentioned before. Mirror Mage is going to activate, searching for the copy of Freezing Curses, or Freezing Chains. We're going to activate, summon back out, overlay up into a Toad, and then we can link these two away for a Rabbit. A Rabbit will then activate the effects, and this, yeah, our zone placements are not going to be the best. Rabbit's going to be setting the copy of the trap. At this point, we have a Sprint for follow-up, or if you have any other monster you want to summon out, you can do that as well. Let's pretend we had a copy of Red as well, or Carrot. We have that on the field, so you're going to have the negate with the Sprint, sending it. You have the double cross, which is also going to be able to attach if you cannot, or if you don't really need to find a way to totally awesome there. You can attach into or attach under the Sprint. Sprint's going to have access in the following turn if it stays on the field. You have a copy of Carrot, which can then destroy if you had this in the hand, obviously, as well. But you are playing a bunch of different extenders, so most likely you will have other extenders in the hand, or a copy of starter. You're playing 3 starter, double red, and the 1 carrot. That's going to be like 6 cards that you could have as well. And then, of course, if you already had the Jet in the hand, you would have been able to search for the copy of any of the other ones. And then if you had the copy of the starter or the double cross, you would be able to search for the other one there. There's just different variations here. We have 2 Omni Negates. You have a kind of a negate with this. You want to negate a special summon monster, which is going to be quite powerful, as well as being able to pop a card on the field as well, a spell and trap on the field with Silhouette Rabbit when you summon this out. And then obviously the add back of the Beaver, and then another card with the Totally Awesome, which is going to be during the standby phase, summoning another copy of Swap Frog. And then Swap Frog, obviously, will be another body on the field. So your opponent's going to have a very hard time being able to beat all this. There's lots of cards that you have to be able to continue your combos with. You're going to be adding the follow-up with the Beaver when the copy of Totally Awesome is the graveyard. So you're going to have just a lot to push through during the next turn as well. But your opponent normally doesn't have enough to just beat this. That's going to be it for that combo. Now moving on to the next. For this combo, we're going to pretend all you have is starter and then 4 other hand traps. You activate starter in the draw phase here because you don't have anything else to activate. If you had a copy of Talents and this was the only card that available, you would go into the main phase to try to activate it. In case you got Ash Blossom, then you can obviously draw 2 cards. But in this case, we're just going to pretend that we don't have Talents or anything else. So we're going to go draw phase, activate the effect, summon out the blue. Blue will then activate. This is going to be in the draw phase, therefore your opponent cannot hit you with a draw on the resolution of the blue, as well as a copy of Veiler because we are in the draw phase. Search for a copy of the Jet. We do take 11 for the blue off the starter. That's going to be fine. We move to the main phase now. Activate, summon itself out. And we're going to be able to search. You can search for another copy of the starter, or you can search for a double cross here. In this case, we don't have that much going on. We are going to be searching for that for the copy of starter here, because we aren't going to have a very much chance to go into anything else. So now we have an extender or a spell and trap negate during our opponent's turn here. We then link these two away for a copy of Sprind. Sprind's going to dump from the deck that Angler. Angler once again will summon with the double beavers. We can show another combo that doesn't utilize the Sprind if you guys want to. You know, let's say we open up double copies of Angler. We can then go up into a Gigantic once again. Activate the effect. Summon out the Swap Frog. We all know how this goes. Swap, send the Mirror Mage effect, add, activate, summon out, go up into a copy of the Totally Awesome. Link these two up into the Rabbit or the SIP, depending on whichever one you want. You know, in this case, we added the starter to the hand, so we're going to go for the IP here. And then we're going to be able to pass turn on that. So we're going to be seeing the standby phase. Totally Awesome. Just summon another copy of the Swap Frog here. We have the starter to summon out either the red or the carrot. And then we have the IP to go up into the copy of ESP, banishing additional card on the field. Now we could have set the copy of Double Cross there, so we would have had 2 Omni Negates. But in this case, we would have been very limited on what we can do. Obviously, you guys can see that most roads all lead to Totally Awesome. So we're going to show you a combo with a Totally Awesome in the next line. So for this combo, we're going to pretend we open up double copies of Angler, removing our access to the Sprind. Could just have to dump from the deck, and a copy of Carrot. It's kind of the worst one. We're going to normal summon out that copy of Angler, special summon out the Carrot. We then overlay immediately into the copy of Sprind. Activate Sprind, detach, summon Blue. Blue then searches for Jet. Jet summons, search for the starter. And this is what we mean where we're not going into the copy of the Swap Frog here. We want to have multiple access to different bodies. So we can go for starter, summon out Red, take the 1200, link away for a Rabbit. A Rabbit will then set the trap. And at this point, we can link these two away if we wanted to as well, to go up into the IP. There's really no reason to do that here. We do have a negate with the red. We have a negate as well, and we have a normal summon. This is not a good combo. Obviously, you'd have other cards in the hand. I just want to show you guys that you can go for different lines. You know, we could just pretend we ended up on the IP instead. And when you look at this board, like, you know, you have the red to negate. You have this to go up into the SP. So you have a monster negate as well as a SP there. It's not very great. Obviously, our hand was very bad. You'd probably see 2 other hand traps in your hand as well there. But I just wanted to show you guys off like different areas that you can go for. And the deck really revolves around level 2s. Now I'll show you guys a very cracked hand. Now for this combo, we're going with the Angler and a Swap Frog. Swap Frog has the additional effect that can send from the hand, summon out, which will trigger the Angler. So here we're going to go Swap Frog, send Angler. Angler's going to activate, summon out both copies of the Beaver. And we do have Swap Frog to dump as well. Dumping the Mirror Mage. Mirror Mage will then activate, search for this. Activate, summon back out. We immediately go for a Toad. So now we're protection under 5, which is really nice. We already have used the Angler there, so we don't need to go for it. There's also a line where you can instead, when we have this on the field, you can go Swap Frog, bounce back the copy of the Beaver, and then go up into it. So then you also have an additional normal summon as well for the Beaver, which we have not seen yet. So we'll do that there. Normal summoning, activating the effect, summon with the copy of Angler from the graveyard. And we can just immediately go up into the Gigantic. So Gigantic, detach, summon Blue. Blue's going to activate, summon with the copy of Jet. Jet going to summon itself and then activate, searching for Double Cross. We then link these two away for a IP. And we can link these two away up into the Rabbit. Rabbit will then be able to set the Azurine from the deck. And so now we have a few different options here. You know, we have the Double Cross as well as the copy of Totally Awesome. So what Totally Awesome is during the standby phase, we'll summon out another copy of the Swap Frog. Then we can send this to the graveyard to negate a card, adding us back that beaver once again. And then double cross will be able to summon back out that Totally Awesome for a second negate, negating another card. Then when our opponent wants to do anything else, we go up into an SP, getting rid of a third card on their field. Rabbit will also be able to summon this out, getting rid of a spell on top that they have, which a lot of players are playing field spells or other continuous spells. So getting rid of a fourth card here. And then, of course, when they try to go with the extra deck, we're going to get rid of that as well here. Negating the summon, making us have a fifth negate, or a fifth card of interaction. And we still have a normal summon of a beaver for the follow-up turn. So that's going to be kind of just showing you guys a bigger combo. You know, either obviously if you had other copies of Red or Carrot, you'll have additional negates on the field. And this is why we play multiple copies of the starter as well as the red and the carrot. And if you already had the jet in the hand, you would also be able to search for a copy of the red or the carrot. Just want to show you guys different variations that you always have. That's all off of 2 cards, by the way. Very nice 5 interaction board here. For this combo here, I'll be showing you guys the way to OTK with the Gamma Burst, going second. So normally we're going to have a copy of Shifter in the graveyard, which is going to kind of leave us for more room to OTK. So we're going to pretend we have these Shifters going to be live, as well as these 2 cards in the hand. Kind of the worst normals, in my opinion. We're going to normal summon the Carrot, special blue. Blue is going to activate, search for Jet. Jet summon itself, activate, search for Carrot, or search for the Gamma Burst here. We then overlay into Gigantic. Gigantic will then activate. We can also leave the copy of the Jet on the field using the blue. Having more attack is going to be always nice. We detach. This is going to get banished. Summoning out here. It doesn't necessarily matter which body we summon out, but just going to build up in here in stats. So we're going to be summoning out the copy of red. We don't have anything else here. We can go for a Swap Frog if we wanted to. Now, the problem with the Swap Frog is that this needs to be sent to the graveyard here, so we can't go for the copy of Sprint. Obviously, we have different options that we can do, if we want to go for it. But we can activate the effect of Gamma Burst here. If we already had it in the hand, we would also be able to search for the starter. Starter can then summon out a different body. Here, we could summon out a copy of Swap Frog if we already had the starter. Starter summon out the blue red. In this case, we're going to have 14 on all of these. So it's going to be 27. This is going to be the at 3,000 here. This is going to be at 24, and this is going to be at 26. So it's showing just the power of the cards here. Depending on what you have, normally with the normal summon, you're going to get the effect as well of the Beaver, summon out the copy of Angler, have different options, and then obviously here, you are on their Shifter, you normally have other hand traps. If you have a Bestial, you can obviously extend a little bit more. Go even up to a Rabbit, and then Rabbit has the effect. You can also attach the Rabbit as the copy of Gigantic, which will then boost the Gigantic up to 32. So different variations that you can play, obviously. Shifter and Gamma Burst go really well together because you are going to be shifting your opponent on a deck that normally does hurt to lose a Shifter. So they're going to have a path on a suboptimal board. You can just Gamma Burst them for game, which is quite nice. There's obviously different options as well if you want to go for the Mosquito. Mosquito can also deal some damage, and then every time you attack, they'll take some. So if you have a 3,000 body on the field, they can just go up into this and then activate the effect when it attacks. Putting that on their attack, they take 3,000. You attack, they take 3,000 once again. And, your guys do die, but unfortunately, you are going to be dealing 6,000 life points of damage to them, which can be quite beneficial when you're trying to seal off a game. And then obviously, you can go right up into a copy of the Downer Magician during the following standby or following main phase, and then the Zeus. You have a 4 material Zeus as well to be able to send. Obviously, if you did not activate a copy of Starter or the copy of Gigantic. Just want to be showing you guys different variations. People were like, well, why do you play Downard? Downard is going to give you access to the 4 material Zeus, which you don't always go for. If you are playing Prosperity, normally these 2 are going to be guaranteed cards that I do put back or put to the bottom of the deck. It's just different options you can obviously play. If you guys want to know any other card combinations, let me know in the comment section down below. I know it's going to be a little bit of a shorter combo video. The deck isn't that complicated, honestly. It's very straightforward. But if you guys want to see more, let me know in the comment section down below. Stay safe. Peace.